Hello my fellow riders, this is Chris at Ride and Reviews, and today we're going to be having a look at the Keeway RKF 125cc 2021 bike. So this is the 125cc RKF from Keeway. This one is the 2021 bike, but it is a Euro 4 one. The Euro 5 bikes are coming in shortly. They will be slightly more expensive because they will have a bigger catalytic converter, but I have been told that they are definitely coming back in. This bike is actually for one of my subscribers, and that is D from Northern Ireland. You asked me to do a video. I have delivered. So here is the Keeway RKF 125. We're going to do this the same way we normally do: spec, design, comfort, cost of riding, and pros and cons. There will be a test ride video in here somewhere, and that will be a short one, and there'll be a full test ride video uploaded later on. Spec. So this bike does actually come with its own Keeway engine, and this engine was designed directly for this bike, and it was also made in conjunction with Benelli. So this bike and the RKF and the RKR both come with this engine. It has 3 spark plugs, a single cylinder, 4 valves, and it is a 4-stroke water cooled. The bike produces 9 kilowatt hours of power, and it is 10 newton meters of torque. This makes it a tiny bit more powerful than, say, the LXR, but the major thing this bike has got going for it is it does actually have one more gear. So this is supposed to be a naked Street Fighter-esque sort of bike, and it is one of the better bikes that came out last year. I would say there will be another video at some point with my best 5 of 2020, and this bike will be included in that. One of the legal requirements in the UK is to have combined braking. This has combined braking, which means that when you pull in your front brake, it is a front brake. When you put your foot on the back brake, it sends 25% of the pressure from the back brake to the front, which means that you get a smoother, less abrupt braking experience. So it stops you from nosediving pretty much. This, in theory, is supposed to be helpful to the end user. It is a UK legislation, but I don't actually think that it helps at all. You can tell by quite a lot of the bikes that come to Cheap Bikes for us that lots of people don't actually use their back brake anyway. ABS is a completely different thing. Some of the models next year with Euro 5 will come with ABS, but at the minute it's not a legal requirement to have ABS on a 125. It has a digital display, and we'll go a little bit more in depth into that in a minute. It does come with a normal steel exhaust system, so when you're going out in the winter and stuff like that, make sure you clean it off, clean all that salt and debris off, and that will just help it in the long run against rust. It comes with a 17-inch tyres front and back, discs front and back, and it will do around high 80s miles to the gallon. So to a full tank you should be able to get somewhere in the region of 400-ish miles. As you can see, you have the halo around the front light, and you have those LED front beam headlights. This is low, that's high beam, and indicators, also 3 LEDs on the indicators. As you can see, it does light up the showroom pretty well, so you are going to get a decent amount of light when you're riding. Same with the rear light, it's fairly bright. 6 LEDs in there. And again, you're going to be very visible on this. The other good thing obviously with this bike is you can have it idling on the side stand, but if you start it up, and then put it into first gear, the bike will cut off. Which when you want to keep the bike for a long time, being able to sit it outside for 2 minutes while you're getting your clothing on so that it can idle itself and warm up, that helps the engine in the long term. So we'll have a look at some of the controls so that you can see exactly what you need to see and how to control it. On the left hand switch gear, you've got your indicators, your horn, your high beam flasher and your high beam and low beam. The lights only come on when you start the bike, so you'll have the side light until you start the bike and then it'll come on. Hazard lights there. Your kill switch, if your kill switch is up like this, you will not be able to start the bike, and you've got your starter there. This button here is to set your time, your clocks, your trip meter. So you press that, see trip A, trip B, and total. If you hold it down, then you can get into the settings of changing the time and whatever needs to be changed. You have a fuel indicator there, a temperature indicator there, and that's the engine temperature, not the external temperature, and a gear selector icon on there. So you won't want me to do it. Second, third. So we're going to talk about the actual dimensions of the bike. So it is, the length of it is 2020 millimeters long. The width is 780, and the height up to the highest point is 1070. So that's going to be up to here. It won't be to the top of the mirrors. Ground clearance, you've got 170 millimeters of ground clearance and a 10 litre tank. Your seat height is 770 millimeters tall, and that's about average for a 125cc motorbike. Total weight with fuel and oil and all that sort of stuff is 150 kilos. Take for example the Lexmoto LXR, that was 165 I believe, and the power output of this one compared to the LXR is pretty similar. Design. This bike is obviously meant to look mean and want to make you go faster. It's not really designed to have two people on it. You can, but it's not designed for that. And it is just something that looks fairly cool. What else can you say? It's got the rear hugger on the back. It's got quite a nice and quite a tidy rear hanger, rear tidy, whatever you want to say. LED indicators, LED lights, 17-inch wheels, the upside down forks, and that's pretty much it. There isn't that much to say about the design. You can see it. Red, white, black, and green, which the green was a 2020 color. You will find that they're probably not going to have all those colors in the Euro 5, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have the green one. Comfort. This bike is going to be good for riding quite a distance. So you're not straining the engine too much at 60 miles an hour because it does have that 6th gear and it does have the power to pull you. You are going to slow down on hills, but that's something else. The seat position is quite nice. This is very soft on the cushioning, and if you're sitting on it, you see your foot goes in underneath the tank. You've got a nice seating position on your legs. I don't like going pillion, but I'm guessing it's going to be okay as a pillion passenger. I don't like it. I don't want to trust anybody else's riding, so I'm not going to do it. As I said, this will be good for the longer duration journeys. That 6th gear makes a lot of difference. Price. So the Euro 4 version of this bike comes in at £2,399 plus £100 on the road. Insurance for this for a 17-year-old in Milton Keynes should be somewhere in the region of £350. Your first year's tax comes with a bike. It will be £20 then after, and your MOT, you do not have to get one for 3 years. That's the same with any new bike. It doesn't matter what type of bike it is or any vehicle. So any new vehicle comes with 3 years. Minimum safety clothing legally is a helmet. If you just wear a helmet, you're an idiot. Helmet, jacket and gloves, I would say, is a minimum, but I would very much recommend that you get a pair of boots. They don't have to be motorbike boots, they can be safety boots, and that just helps you if you fall off because it won't destroy your ankle. Pros and cons. This bike is very much designed to be a commuter, but there's a couple of things on this that it hasn't got that a commuter normally does. So it hasn't got a rear luggage rack, so you can't have any luggage on it, but you can get the rear seat netting, so you can have something on your rear seat. It's fairly tall and it's fairly upright position. That being said, I think that's probably more of a pro than it is a con. If you're upright, you can see over the top of the traffic. It's quite comfortable. You're not leaning over the front, so you're not going to end up hurting your back. It's a 125, and a 125 has a limited capability when it comes to power. So yes, you are going to have some slowing down on hills, and you are going to max it out at just under 70 miles an hour. So apparently some people have said that they can get 75 to 80 miles an hour. That is down a hill with a wind behind you. You might be fat, so you've got a belly weight to do it. If you do that, going down a big hill at 80 miles an hour, the chances are you're going to actually damage your engine. So I wouldn't recommend you do that. You should be keeping it at somewhere in the region of 65 to 70 miles an hour. Parts are readily available for this. Keeway is part of the MotoGP group, and they bring in tons and tons of things. So they bring in the Keeway, Lambretta, Sim, Kawasaki, Suzuki. I don't think they're bringing Honda, but yeah, they bring in absolutely tons of stuff into the UK for this. So I will do a little bit of a test ride video. As I said at the beginning, there will be a shorter one now in this video, and then I will input the large one into the next video on its own. So thank you for watching my video on the Keeway RKF 125cc Euro 4 motorbike. The Euro 5 will be 99% the same. might be a little bit more expensive, and it will have a slightly different exhaust, but whether you can tell the difference by looking at it, I very much doubt it. So comment below if you've got anything to say, hit that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to stay updated to all my latest content. And D from Northern Ireland, I hope you enjoy your bike. Please comment below when you've got it, just so that you can tell the subscribers you enjoy it. But as always, ride safe.